Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you might be listening to this. I'm your host, Sutton Def, and you are listening to Sutton Reactions, a show where I react to pretty much anything that comes to my attention and try to provide a little bit different perspective on it, if that makes sense. But a lot of this, honestly, 100% of it is just my natural reactions to some of the things that are going on the interwebs. And today we have a jam packed episode, as usual. This is actually the first episode of the year, the first episode of 2026. So, welcoming in the new year. Appreciate all of you guys for coming through. If you've been rocking with us since the past couple of weeks, this is episode 12 of the show. So, still a fairly young show, but we're having a lot of fun with it and building some community. So, if that sounds good to you, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel as well. And then also, please do not forget that very soon here, and again, I keep saying this, I know I keep saying this, but very soon, this show will not be on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, which I know a lot of you guys are watching it on right now as we're simulcasting onto both channels. But pretty soon here, it's going to be exclusively on the Sutton Reactions YouTube channel. So I think the link is in the description already. If not, after this video, I'll throw it in there. But make sure you head over there and hit subscribe to that, and in case you want to get more Sutton Reactions content. The other link, I guess it's not in the description, but if you go on YouTube and you type in Sutton Reactions, it's one of the first channels to pop up, and it's got like 50 subs right now. So I'm trying to get that up. But yeah, again, I'll put it in the description after the video. So if you're part of the hashtag replay gang on this one, salute to you. Shout out to you. Again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you might be listening. This is Sudden Reactions. So this episode, and what's up, Void? And what's up, Herb? I see you in the chat. This episode, I want to start with what we've been starting with at least once a week on this show. And that is these Avengers trailers, man. These Avengers trailers have been really, really getting me hyped. They're releasing them 1 week at a time, and they're doing them only just one character. They're only featuring one character per trailer. And so far, we've gotten what? We've gotten Thor, we've gotten Captain America, and I think that's it so far. However, and appreciate that for coming over to the sudden reaction side. But now they've just released the X-Men trailer, which I just watched it probably about 5 minutes before coming on stream, just so I could, know what I was getting myself into. But man, do I have some opinions about this movie coming out here. Let's go ahead and let's actually get into that. All right, so as you guys know, won't pull it off full screen because don't want to get hit with no copyright or anything like that. So we're just going to play it right here for you guys. I'm streaming it, so it might not be the cleanest, but you guys get the point. You guys get the point.
Death comes for us all. That's all I know for sure. The question isn't, are you prepared to die? The question is, who will you be?
Look at that.
When you close your eyes.
Mr. X. This is about to be so fire. Look at this. Look at that. I'm just gonna pause that real quick. I'm gonna let the rest of it play out, but this is amazing. You put Cyclops back in there, bro. December 18th, 2026, right before Christmas next year. Again, perfect timing, I think, for it. The fact that they're releasing these trailers little by little, like literally like almost a year in advance, it kind of lets me know that we've only really scratched the surface on what they have planned to happen in this film. I think it's going to be that good. It's going to be that good, to be honest with you. Getting the X-Men back is fire for a couple of different reasons. Number one, the Avengers, when, it was just Iron Man and Hulk, and Spider-Man made a few appearances and things like that, it was already lit. But then when you add the world of X-Men into that as well, I think it just adds a whole new, like, a whole new kind of like variable to the entire like movie series now that like they're all coming together, and it must be that like they're gonna have their work cut out for them, trying to defeat Doomsday or whoever the main antagonist will be in this one. And of course they haven't done the Robert Downey Jr. Actual Doomsday trailer release yet. I'm sure that'll blow up the internet. But again, man, just kind of like it feels like worlds are colliding here, and it's like the biggest names, right? I mean, we've already confirmed Thor, Captain America will be back. Now we've got X-Men, right? And but this is before we even get to, maybe Hulk comes back. I'm not sure. I think that they said Spider-Man will not be back for this one. He's off doing his own thing right now. Spider-Man is, and then who was the last one? Black Panther. Black Panther. Will be interesting to see if they reboot Black Panther with a new actor. Of course, rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman, who played him before. But I saw a rumor on Twitter, and somebody was saying like Damson Idris could play him, and I was like, if that happens, like this movie is going to that takes the movie to another level, a whole new level, an entirely new level. Or Doctor Doom. Yeah, I'm sorry. Doomsday. I'm thinking of the guy beat up Superman. Um, but it says Avengers Doomsday though. Oh, I guess it's Doomsday. Yeah, that's what the movie's called, but it's Doctor Doom. Anyway, Rip Chadwick, like you said, Herb. But nah, man, I think that mixing all of those and again adding Black Panther with a new actor and an actor as popular as Damson Idris, of course, known for Snowfall, most famously, that will go crazy. That would go absolutely insane. Do you know how many black people would line up to go see that movie just off the strength of Black Panther being back, right? And it being an actor that everybody knows and loves. Yeah. I don't know if they're actually going to do that. I mean, we're still a whole year out and they're teasing different characters per week. I think they could. I think they could. I don't think that they want to necessarily pull out all the stops on this movie because maybe they'll look at it as like, okay, maybe we blew our load a little bit in the first film, but I think this is going to be another series of films. I mean, because you have a brand new antagonist now in Doctor Doom. Of course, it was Thanos before in the other installment of the Avengers series that we saw and was great all those years ago. Well, not all those years ago, but you get what I mean. The last one. This one is like a brand new one. So, like the fact that they're kicking it off with all these characters in it, it tells you that they have big plans for it going forward. It does. Void makes a good point here. It says they might have it be Shuri again. Yeah, yeah. I mean, also from Wakanda. I mean, it would make sense. It would make sense. I think that the masses would prefer to see the iconic Black Panther, you know, played by, of course, not to say it like a black man. A lot of people would, but then a lot of people would love to see Shuri. I mean, Shuri is awesome as well. Again, also from Wakanda, so I get it. I get it. But for me personally, though, I would want to see Black Panther. Somebody actually reboot the actual Black Panther role, like the actual male. That would be dope. That would be dope. Herb says, and I think Denzel as the antagonist would be fire. Absolutely would. Wait, isn't he? Isn't Denzel the antagonist in some superhero movie? Am I tripping? Because I know it wasn't this movie. Was isn't it? One of the Black. No, it wasn't one of the Black Panther movies. I'm tripping right now. I think he was an antagonist in one of these movies, though, or is going to be. Uh, Hopefully, I'm not tripping. Antagonist. Rumored and reportedly confirmed to play a villain in Black Panther 3. Interesting. Interesting. What up, King Blaze? See you in the chat. Interesting. Yeah, but I mean, either way, guys, this movie right here, this Avengers Doomsday, is going to be a monocultural moment. I think it's going to be one of those movies where you're going to have to get your tickets in advance. right? Because it's going to be sold out showtimes. Like, it's just, this one might revive the movie theater industry. Because this is one of those big box superhero movies. It's not going to come straight to streaming. It'll be on Disney Plus before anything, of course, after, its theater run. But I wouldn't if I was Disney. If I was Disney, I would not just drop this immediately on Disney Plus right after, like 3 weeks after. No, not at all. I'm saying give it 3 months, give it 90 days, and then drop it on there. No, we need to feel this one in the theaters. I think it's actually in Disney's best interest that they do it that way. Right? Make people show up, go to the theaters, make it a thing, let them know up front it's not going to be on Disney Plus the next week. Right? I think that needs to be the strategy. That needs to be the strategy. Voice says, since this is a multiverse film, do you think Spider-Man 2099 makes an appearance? Spider-Verse tie-ins. I'm actually not sure who Spider-Man 2099 is. Maybe I should look that up. But they did say Spider-Man wasn't supposed to be in this. Interesting. Spider-Man 2099 is a superhero appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics. The character was created by Peter David and Rick Leonardi in 92 for the Marvel 2099 comic book line. He is a futuristic reimagining of the original Spider-Man created by Stan Lee. Huh. Interesting. So I would assume this guy's got more gadgets and it's just like a higher tech suit or something like that. I don't know. I mean, it would be interesting to see another version of Spider-Man, like a more dominant version of Spider-Man who has more weaponry. That'd be dope. Oh, yeah, I know Loki's supposed to be in it as well. Loki's definitely going to be in it. Man, it's going to be a great movie. I can't wait. I cannot remember the last time I was this excited for a superhero movie. I can't. But yeah, sucks that we have to wait all the way till December, though. Not really a big fan. Adit says, let me guess, someone took Cyclops' son in that moment. Maybe that's why he was so angry, going crazy like he was. But again, I just think mixing in characters like Cyclops, like a Professor X, and just hearing them have dialogue with, Captain America and Robert Downey Jr., I'm sure at some point, like, it's gonna feel like, okay, yeah, we need to be glued to the screen for this. Would love it. Miles Morales, make it happen. I wouldn't be mad at that either. I don't know who they would cast for that, but wouldn't be mad at that. Yeah. But either way, man, I think that movie's going to be fire. Absolutely fire. I cannot wait to see it. But okay. Let's move along here. Let's move right along. Again, this is Sutton Reactions. I am your host, Sutton Def. And we're going to react to... Let's take a look at Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith had some things to say on the Patrick Bet David podcast, because I feel like Stephen A. is kind of trying to low-key align himself as the next presidential candidate, which, he's kind of alluding to with his show. He's got his own show where he talks politics and things like that, and he's never turned down the idea of potentially trying to run for president one day. So there's been rumors, but he has something to say about the Democratic Party on this episode of the Patrick Bet David podcast. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
Stop looking at black folks like it's this one monolithic group. You see a dissipation kicking in, where the level of faith in the Democratic Party is shrinking before our very eyes, because you have a lot of black folks out there that feel the way that I feel. By that strong leaning towards the extreme left, you forgot about black folks in the process.
Mm.
The LGBTQ community. I'm a live and let live kind of guy. Live your life, no problem. You understand? I support you having your civil rights or whatever. I got a problem, though, if you want to transition from being a male to a female and you want to compete in female sports. I got a problem when you want to have, when you want to engage in.
And as a sports guy, that makes sense for Stephen A. to think that, to be honest.
Gender change, and you're willing to condone it transpiring without parental consent. You know what I said on the air a couple of weeks ago? I said, forget all of this stuff for a second. Anybody who is a parent, tell me the human being that could come up to y'all and say, when it comes to your kid got a right to do what they want to do without consenting to you as their parent. Show.
Yeah, I mean, now that's a fact right there. That's a fact. Now here's my thing about the whole like gender affirming care and all that. Like I said, I'm a like live and let live type of person. Just like Stephen A. Smith is saying, like, if that's what makes you happy, then do you, of course. But at the same time, it's like they're talking about here where, kids can go off and get things done on their own without parents' consent, and things like that. I don't think that that's necessarily right. I don't think that that's right at all, to be honest with you. But I don't know how much that's actually happening for it to be a real issue for people. Like, people like to bring this up all the time, but I don't think that it's like something that's happening as much as we give it credit for. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really seem like that. It seems like something that's like an extreme thing that, of course, is happening, especially in, I'm sure, some states like California and stuff like that. It's probably worse out there. But I just don't see it being like a huge, huge issue, to be kind of like saying that's a detractor of the Democratic Party. But let's keep listening.
Show me the parent that says, okay, who's that person? I've never met him, ever. So I'm like, how could y'all do that and think that's cool? See, common sense is what it comes down to. And when people look at me and they say, Stephen, we good, because I might disagree with you, but if you make a point, damn it, you made a point. Vinny, you made a point, damn it, you got me. Adam, you made a point, damn it, you got me. Tell you. Danny, of course you got me. Right. But so do I. And my point is, at the end of the day, it's about common sense. And because why? Because that's where both sides can't escape from. You can try, but you can't run from common sense. And something as simple as the example that I just used, any parent, raise your hand if somebody can come to you about your child, telling you what your child can do without your consent. They're a child. You're paying their bills. You're taking care of them. You have dominion over them. Oh, but now you want to hold me accountable for that. But when it comes to something else, okay, they got the right to do what they want to do without consulting you. To me, that's automatic disqualification for any politician that lets that come out of their mouth. And I've said so publicly. So I don't disagree with you.
So, yes, that was one Stephen A. Smith giving his piece on, I guess, what he thinks is wrong with the Democratic Party. And he really only focused on this one issue. So I guess that's what I'll talk about here. That's what I'll react to. By the way, what up, Zeke? I see you in the chat. 86 Ghost, brother, what's up? Appreciate y'all for coming through. And then thank you, Adit, for confirming that Denzel is going to be in Black Panther 3. Yep. Appreciate that. But yeah, back to the Stephen A. Smith thing. I just, again, I want to preface it by saying I don't know exactly how much this is happening, how much this is really like truly an issue. Like, I've heard of it, but it doesn't really seem like it's like the majority of kids wanting to do that. Like, not even close, nowhere even near, right? Most kids, I think, still grow up, pretty just normal, and they stick to what they were born with, and they want to stick, with what they were born with. I don't think it's like sweeping across the nation that most kids want to do that. Anyway, what he's saying is right. Though. I mean, if it is legal in some states or certain parts of the country for children who are, 10 years old, 12 years old, 13 years old to go and opt in for literal sex changes before your brain is even fully developed, I think that that's wrong. Now, if you're a parent who just wants to do anything to make sure that your kid feels comfortable, or at least they think they feel comfortable in their skin, and you want to support them, back them up, whatever, and you sign them up for that, fine, cool. Because you're an adult, you have a fully developed brain, and it's your right to go ahead and do that. Does it make it right? Like morally, in my eyes, I don't think so. But again, they're an adult and that's their kid. If they want to sign them up for that, they can. But I just don't think that kids should be able to sign themselves up for it without parental consent. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. You know, um, I mean, kids have to get permission slips signed to go on field trips from their parents before they can go on field trips. Like I don't know if they're necessarily going on field trips anymore in schools, but I remember when I was growing up, if we wanted to go somewhere, I had to go home and get a little paper signed by my mom saying that I could go, right? And that's just a field trip to like the zoo or something. I mean, this we're talking about like no parental consent needed to literally what chop off your genitals? Like what are we talking about? What are we talking about? I don't understand. I don't understand that at all. At all. Dream Chasing says all these fake discussions while we got PDF file in the office right now is just silly. Now that's a fact. That's a fact. Because I don't think that anybody should be talking about anything when it comes to, sex or anything like that, or what's right and what's wrong, without first pointing the finger over to Big T in the White House. Because that dude, that's a bad dude. Like Stephen A would say, that's a bad man, and not in a good way. That's a bad man. He done did a lot of shit, and a lot of shit we still don't even know about. We don't even know about. So that's a great point, Dream Chasing. I think the key message here is leave the kids alone, which personally I agree with. Well, yeah, leave the kids alone in the sense that like don't push them or allow them to see something on TV or see somebody at school and have their underdeveloped brain be influenced by that, and then all of a sudden think that that's what they want for their life as well. Like it's life-changing decisions before you even turn 18. that just doesn't make sense. Leave the kids alone. I agree with that. Attitude Pop says if your kid wants that and the kid signs off on it, then it don't matter, because no matter what you do, kids are going to do what they want to do with their bodies and stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Like I said, that's exactly what I said. I mean, if your kid wants that and the kid signs off on it, then it don't matter, because no matter what you do, kids are going to. Oh, wait, no. Well, yeah, they're going to do it with their bodies, but I would assume you would wait until at least they turn 18, right? Your brain isn't even fully developed at that age. I think for males, it's like 25, and for women, it's like 23 or something like that, somewhere around that area. But at least you're legal to go and buy a cigarette from the gas station. You know what I mean? Like, in some states, you can't even do that until you're 21 now. Right. So I just, if we're going to use this logic, then if the kid wants it and the kid signs off on it, then it don't matter. Then we might as well just sell kids cigarettes and alcohol and all that stuff, But if the kid wants it and the parent signs off on it, then that's different. Oh, he says, I meant if parents sign off on it. Okay, so we're on the same page. We're on the same page. All this finger pointing and infighting are just distractions from the nefarious stuff that the right has been up to. The right has been so weird, yo. The right has been so freaking weird. Let's talk about it. I mean, they have really like almost single-handedly in just like the last like 2 years, right, have cartoonized the US government. It's like no longer a government that you can look up to that you can trust, that has parameters and decorum. Now it's like the WWE. I mean, you've got the official United States Homeland Security Twitter page tweeting edits, like edit videos of ICE taking people out of their homes and locking people up, and you've got like pop music behind it, just making like a mockery of like what's going on. Like it's not that serious. Like it's just like they're playing in our faces, man. They've been so weird for so many things. And again, of course, what can you really expect? I mean, of course, there's going to be a circus when the ringleader is who they are. And it's a hell of a circus right now. It's a hell of a circus. I'll tell you that. Definitely vote local. That's for sure. Ah, Lord, man, it's been crazy. Void says the Epstein thing is definitely a bipartisan issue, for sure, for sure. There's conflicts of interest on both sides of the aisle when it comes to these Epstein files. I believe that wholeheartedly, and that's why you'll never see it all come out. I truly do believe that. I truly do believe that. We got a super chat donation. This one's coming from Dream Chasing Boxing. Appreciate you, man, making it rain here on this episode of Sutton Reactions. Dream Chasing dropping the 20 ball in the chat, man. Says, my opinion on the trans stuff is leave medical decisions to parents and their doctors. I don't want to decide whether a parent allows their child to get abortion, takes the vaccines, or want to transition. I'll decide for my child. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like if you as an adult, you brought this child into the world, you have a fully developed brain. If you feel like you know what's best for this child before they turn 18 and you want or don't want certain things done, you should have the right as a parent, to say like, no, like I'm not signing off on that. Like, no, he can't or she can't just show up at a clinic and get something done without my consent. Like it's just. And maybe some kids, if it's really serious, it can lead down a road to like emancipation, where they go out on their own and then they get this stuff done. If it's to that point, I think that you got to have a sit down conversation. It's like, okay, what do you really feel? Like you got to, at that point, you have to try to understand just why, right? Why they want this or why they don't want that, that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm not in the business of trying to decide what somebody else's kid gets. Like, I'm just concerned about my kids. I think that that's kind of like the general consensus that a lot of people would prefer. But on these type of issues, it's either like all or nothing. It's like you have to take the lesser of two evils of a side or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, why can't we just all make decisions for ourselves? That's what it boils down to. Thank you so much for your super chat donation, Dream Chasing. We appreciate that. Appreciate that. Taurus, what's going on, Taurus? I see Chris in the chat as well. Good morning, y'all, or good afternoon, whichever one suits you. Says, I didn't get my daughter vaccinated, but then had 2 years later. So I don't know. I'm on the fence. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the whole vaccine stuff, I don't really like people who make their whole personality and like not trusting modern medicine and stuff like that. It's like it's like, if not that, then what? I mean, I guess if like Dr. Sabi was still alive, maybe we'd have some more natural remedies for things, and we'd have, but unless you're willing to do the research yourself, man, you kind of have to put your trust in modern medicine. I don't tend to do that. I tend to try to, keep myself healthy and in shape. But you guys get the point. You guys get the point. World Class says, what's up? What's up, World Class? Appreciate you for coming through. But yeah, that was Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith talking about what he thinks is wrong with the Democratic Party. And again, I think that Stephen A. Smith is slowly but surely trying to position himself, align himself in the politics world, so he can maybe get on a future ticket, man. Maybe not in the next election, but maybe the one after that. I think he's just trying to get on the map right now. I think that, he might be done with sports because it feels like we've never seen Stephen A. Smith be this vocal about politics before. Up until maybe what, 4 years ago, I would say. I started seeing him say a lot more about politics when it became a lot more of a hot button issue with, Trump and all that stuff going down. But I think again, he's trying to, and with his takes here, because this podcast that he's on, Patrick Bet David podcast, I've only maybe heard a couple of clips here and there, but they're clearly like more right winged guys. So Stephen A. Smith is kind of agreeing with their talking points here. So I think he's scoring points with the right, but he also still scores points with the left because we all know and love Stephen A. Smith, right? Well, not all of us, but you guys get the point. It's I think that's what he's trying to do here. That's what he's not trying to really step on too many toes. He's kind of focusing on, I believe in common sense and this and that. And he speaks very well. He's a great orator. Like I think he's trying to use that. I think that's his next passion project, is trying to run for president. I truly do believe. Chris M says they will use him for his platform, but he'll never get on a Republican or bipartisan ticket. That's true, but he could. He might be able to sneak on a Democratic ticket, though. He might be able to sneak on it. I mean, there's certain issues that obviously he stands hard against, like this one. But again, I think that if the Democratic Party, it's almost like you have to ask yourself the question: would it behoove the Democratic Party to get somebody like Stephen A. Smith to kind of, I don't know, I guess you could say like revive, in a way, like, and kind of fight fire with fire when you talk about like star power? Because I feel like the main reason why Donald Trump won president twice, right? Won it, then lost it, then won it again. I think it's just star power. I think people blindly gravitate towards it, and especially a lot of people on the right. You just see Donald Trump, and it's just like, hey, this guy's a straight shooter. He shoots from the hip. He's just like me. A lot of people on the right believe that. So, but with Stephen A., again, I think he could pull it off. Maybe getting on a ticket, on a Democratic ticket. I think he could. He'd have to. He's got to choose his words very, very well. Very well, though. But I could just see it, though. If I had to like pick on, is it a higher percentage he would go for the right or the left? I think he could work. It's so tough, man. I think that's why he's putting in the groundwork early. He's putting in the groundwork early so people can get used to, seeing him in these political spaces, so he can kind of win over some people and build equity with people on the right or the left. And then by the time the next election rolls around, he kind of takes stock and lay of the land and says, okay, this side is messing with me more than that side, so let me go mess with them, and try my hand that way. I think that, again, I just think he's trying to align himself. He just be yelling sometimes. Dream Chasing says, bro, the whole I don't trust doctors or modern medicine is funny. The moment you get seriously sick, people are going straight to the hospital, not drinking herbal tea. Yeah, I mean, at some point it's like you got to put your trust in it. Sucks, but you got to do what you got to do. Chike, what's going on, Chike? Thank you for the super chat donation. Chike taking us off track here, but that's okay. Says Commanders part ways with Cliff Kingsbury Sutton. Interesting. I mean, I don't think that does anything for the Ravens. I don't want a Cliff Kingsbury anywhere near, I mean, I know Todd Monken is probably going to get let go. Cliff coming in, I think it would just be the same. It would be the same because, I mean, Cliff is like more of that air raid type of guy, and we saw him and Jaden Daniels kind of maximize that in his year one. But year 9 Lamar, when we're really a run-first team, I think that would only just cause the Ravens to get away from running the ball. honestly. So I'm not really a fan of bringing in Cliff Kingsbury, but that is interesting that they let him go. Very interesting. Thank you for the donation, Chike. Appreciate that. Um, Kogan says Stephen A is the male Candace Parker. He leans to whichever side will give him engagement. That's a fact. That's a fact. But you know what they call that? They call that grifting. And I don't see Stephen A. Smith being the guy who is going to have a bunch of hard leaning takes like somebody like a Candace Owens has. Well, you're talking about Candace Owens, not Candace Parker. Sorry, yeah. I think you're talking about that at least. I hope so. But yeah, I think that makes sense though, if you're talking about Candace Owens. But okay, let's move on from this Stephen A. talk, right? Let's move on from this Stephen A. Smith talk. Speaking of, parenthood and things of that nature, I was on the internet the other day and I saw this TikTok video of this woman talking about how she does not want, like she's explicitly stating she does not want a special needs child, right? And I want to go ahead and get into that video in just a second here. Maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't. Kind of interesting in the internet. It was kind of in an uproar about it. Some people felt one way, some people felt another. But before we get into that, we do have another super chat donation. Appreciate that, Dream Chasing, dropping the 5-piece in the chat. Dream Chasing making it rain today. Says Stephen A is not fooling leftists. He is grifting, and it's insanely obvious. Leftists believe he'll be hosting Fox News soon, and centrists are despised. Yeah, that's the thing. He's gonna have to pick a side. He's gonna have to actually come out and be known for being on one side of the aisle or the other. And I think he's running out of time right now because we're already on year 2 of the Trump presidency, and these things move fast, guys. These things move fast. So what is it? 2028 or 2029? It'll be here before you know it. It'll be here before you know it. So he's gonna have to make a choice. He's gonna have to make a choice. He's going to have to make a choice. We appreciate the super chat donation again, Dream Chasing. Let's go ahead and get into our next topic here. Again, special needs. This girl says she doesn't want a special needs kid. Let's hear.
I do not want to have a special needs child. I don't want to have an autistic child, and I don't want to have a child that requires my full-time care. And for many other reasons, but that being the absolute number one, that is why I'm not having kids. I feel like a lot of people just think having kids is like you get married, you have kids, and you need to think through like just so many things. I've been a nanny for 10 years, so that's why I have a lot more, I think, insight into what having kids is. And I feel like a lot of people don't consider this, that could be their reality, and 90% of the time it's going to fall on the woman, the mother, to be the full-time caretaker. You are not 100% willing and ready to give up your life and be a full-time caretaker to a child who might need full-time forever care, then it's irresponsible to have kids. I have thought about it for about a year now. I don't want to have kids for a lot of reasons, but especially a kid that requires my full-time care because I know myself. I know that I get touched out really easily. I know that I get highly overstimulated, and it affects my mood. I have OCD and I have intrusive thoughts. And I know that I wouldn't be able to handle the sadness I would feel seeing my child suffer in any way. My brain literally could not handle it. And so, yeah, think about that. Think about all of the things that go into motherhood and all of the options that are possible when you have a kid, and be smart about it.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. I think that this girl, more so than not wanting a special needs kid, because I think you can actually take that part completely out of it. I think she just isn't ready for kids, period. Because she said that she has OCD, she gets overstimulated, right? And she has intrusive thoughts. If you don't think, and I personally don't have kids yet, but I've been around kids, and those of you guys who do have kids, I'm sure you can attest to this as well. If you don't think that a newborn baby or a toddler is going to overstimulate you, right? When you have to wake up all throughout the night and hear crying, right? And you're sleep deprived. And oh yeah, by the way, you have intrusive thoughts. Forget them having special needs. This could be the healthiest of babies. This could be the healthiest of babies. you're not going to be able to handle that. And I think this girl's just being honest with herself in this one. Like she's framing it as like you shouldn't have kids if you wouldn't be able to handle the absolute worst case scenario of how your kid would come out. And maybe not the absolute worst case scenario, but like if they weren't healthy and they needed your forever care and they went into adulthood still needing your care, right? Again, like we talked about with the Stephen A. Smith thing that he was debating, well not debating, but he was talking about in the last segment, how much is that really happening? Like kids popping out with special needs. I just don't think that it's a healthy narrative to kind of disseminate on the internet that like, hey, like, your kid could wind up having special needs forever. So, don't have kids for that reason. That's dangerous to me. That's dangerous to me. But this girl is being honest with herself, all in all, I think. I think she's being honest with herself. She's just saying, like, I couldn't have kids. But like she just takes it too far when she says, like, I don't want a special needs kid. It's like, no, you just don't need a kid. You just don't need a kid. Because any kid, again, is going to stress you out. Right. And like if you're not the type of person who can handle that, then yeah, maybe you shouldn't have kids. Or you're not the type of person to even want to take on or try that challenge, then yeah, maybe you shouldn't have kids, right? That's what I think about it. That's what I think. World Class says, or she's just lazy and selfish. Never mind. He also said, I think wanting to have a special needs child is weird because why would any parent want their baby to have irregularities? That's true. That's true. Tori says, LOL, I mean, I get it. If I knew ahead of time that my child would be that way, I would abort or something in that nature. Not gonna lie. I mean, and that opens up a whole nother can of worms, right, Taurus? But no, I mean, that I think that is your right. That is your right. You know, ah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Chris says she hates this type of stuff. Tori says, I see both sides. Fair criticism. Some people can handle that in whatever situation involving kids. I watched my dog eat its baby because it wasn't right. Bro. What? What? Tori says, I don't agree with it, but the women have the final say so in the scenario, in my opinion. I agree with that. Women's bodies, they get to choose what they want to do, whether it be to, abort the baby or bring it to term. World Class says, I'm a dad. I don't want my child to be autistic, but if it happens, I'll be no less of a dad and they'll be no less of a child. And that's true. That's very true. But the difference is with you, World Class, you're willing to take on that challenge. Like if that were to ever be the case, like this girl is saying that like she just doesn't have it. She ain't got it. And she hasn't even tried yet. I mean, I don't know how old this girl is. She looks relatively young, probably like, I don't know, mid-20s to maybe early 30s. Something she could potentially change her mind on, as life goes on. It's one of those things. Just one of those things. Maybe her brain is a little bit underdeveloped herself because getting overstimulated, having OCD, like most people experience those things, sis. It's like, honestly, grow up. Grow up. That's what I think. That's what I think. Kogan says, well, they used to have a choice. A lot of states now have removed that right and women are getting charged for miscarrying. Yeah, I've seen that as well. I've seen that as well in certain states. I've been, I've talked to people personally who were going through, you know, uh, miscarriages, like unhealthy baby inside that's growing inside of them and need to get it out, and they were able to get it out. That's here in Texas, which is a very controversial state when it comes to these matters. But so far, what I've seen, it seems like they'll let you, they'll let you do that. I don't know what the reasoning would have to be, but you get it, you get it. But yeah, I think it should definitely be across the board in every state. Like, you know, if a woman wants to get an abortion, let her get an abortion. Who is losing, right? Who's really losing by aborting a baby? You know, especially if the baby has irregularities, is not healthy. Who's losing? Is it taxpayers? No, right? Is it the government? I guess is the only one. The only one that loses is capitalism, because it's a failed opportunity at having another buyer in this country. That's the only loser. And maybe that's why it's in the best interest of some of these people in power to make sure that all babies are brought to term, no matter, which is stupid to me. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. Excuse my language. Man. Man. People lose because we don't know who that baby was. You force these people to have kids and then ignore them when they're uncared for. Yeah, that's my biggest thing. That's my biggest thing. Force people to bring babies into the world, but then when they're here, they, you know, are impoverished. They have no help. They're struggling. Then it's like, oh, well, on to the next unborn baby. It's just like I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. World Class says the people lose because we don't know who that baby was. Yeah, I mean, I think that the only people who really lose, are the parents, to me, in those situations, in the family, you know. But I think to suggest, if I think this is what you're suggesting, World Class, that maybe this could have been the savior, the baby who comes and cures cancer or something like that. No, I don't really see it that way. I don't really see it that way. There's billions of people, literal billions of people on this earth, and uh, you know, like I always say, call God on PRP. I do that because I know He doesn't make mistakes, you know, and things happen for a reason. Things happen for a reason, and yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at with it, man. Okay. Well, there's one more from Torres. Says, I will say this though, one of my favorite people I ever met, his name was Josh, and he was in a wheelchair and definitely special, but dude would get hype every time I seen him until this day. Says happy birthday on Facebook to me. LOL, he probably is the same age or older than me, but great heart. Yeah. You gotta appreciate somebody with a great heart, man. You gotta appreciate somebody with a great heart. I mean, you gotta look at these people who, you know, are struggling or are battling different maybe illnesses or whatever. Look to their heart, and you'll find everything you need, man, and that'll restore your faith in humanity. Sometimes it will. So I feel you, Torch. I feel you. All right, let's move on from this. Let's get to, y'all want to get messy? Don't get a little messy. Nothing too crazy, but like just a little bit messy, right? I feel like we've been a little too serious. Um, I wanted to show this video. This wild video. Wild video. Disclaimer, it's bad. It's bad. I haven't seen anything like this in a while, and I just had to know like the backstory behind it. If anybody could let me know if they've seen this video before and what actually happened, then please.
Nah.
Y'all see this? You see that?
Start getting up, bro. What the?
This dude just slapped this girl in McDonald's after she splashes a drink on him, some orange juice or I don't know, maybe some hot coffee, I don't know. But then he just goes and winds up and just wallops her. And let me just say this before I even go any further, I do not condone ever hitting a woman. Ever. Okay, I think it's some loser shit to do. You know, and that's why I wanted to know, like, because I'm not gonna lie, these look like young boys here. I don't want to necessarily say YNs, right? He says, "Is that Joe Mixon?" Oh no, bro. I don't necessarily say Wyans, but these look like some young boys, right? Who just kind of have like that temper about them. I'm gonna let the rest of the video play, guys, but just the slap part was just so jarring to me when I saw it. I ran straight to the comments in the caption section. I'm like, there's no way this dude just hit her that hard. I mean, I know she like splashed a drink on him, but like, did anybody get like? It seems like something is cut off and missing from this video. As a matter of fact, and another thing too, he hit her hard. He hit her hard, but she ate that shit though. Watch.
Nah.
Right back up. Ate it. Ate it though. Bro don't even hit that hard. But no, it's some weird shit. It's some hoe shit to hit a woman like that. I'm not gonna lie. Again, excuse my language, but I gotta call it for what it is. But she did eat it though. She definitely ate it.
Get off, bro. What the fuck? Lord, you stop
don't want you, bro. Stop talking.
Damn.
Bro, I didn't do shit,
Throwing shit. See, bro. I don't know what happened, what caused this, but like, I just don't think it's ever that serious. You know, as a young man, like, okay, this girl splashed you with a drink, right? I don't know what happened before. Maybe he said something out his mouth and she was like, that's rude, and she splashed a drink on him and then he went off. Or maybe she said something out her mouth and kicked it off. But either way, it's never that serious to wind up, like come way back here. Like that was like the LeBron signature dunk wind up type of, you feel me? And like, and really, really like let her have it. And by the way, again, she ate it. It is never that serious. It is never that serious, bro. And I hope these dudes either find some sort of either lock them up, because that ain't right, man, or they need some help, man. They need some help. Maybe a father figure or something, or just a father in their life. I mean, I don't know if these guys have dads in their lives. I hope they do. But somebody needs to teach these kids that this shit ain't okay. They should know better. Dream Chasing, appreciate the donation, man. Appreciate that. Says, don't know what happened, but them young brothers know better. That cannot be your response to what she did. Young men have to be better. Exactly. World Class says, if she throw a drink on him, then it's like, but bro, you have to know how to restrain yourself as a man. That is so important. It's so important. It is so important to be able to do that. You know, how to, like, you know, conduct yourself in certain situations. Like, you shouldn't even be in a situation where you're going back and forth with this stranger woman in public. You shouldn't even be in that situation, right? As a man, you should have been removed yourself. Like, again, that's why I'm saying I don't know how it started. I don't know how it started, who said what to who. But once you as a man, you see that this altercation that you're getting into with this girl is getting out of hand, then you just need to remove yourself from the situation. Just simply remove yourself. Just simply remove yourself. I just don't think that is that hard. I don't think it's that hard. I don't. Now, she didn't have no business throwing a drink on them. That's for sure. I mean, that is not classy at all. It ain't right, you know, but, and I don't know what brought her to do something like that, because it's just like, and it's just like, if you're her, like, how could you be so stupid to splash a drink on a straight? You don't know this dude. You don't know who he is. You don't know what he's capable of. Right? And he's with somebody else. Like, what are we talking about, dog? What are we talking about? That was crazy. When in doubt, call the cops. I'm not fighting nobody. 2026. Hey, look, I already called them, bro. They're already on the way, Chief. They're already on the way. Too late. Already called the cops. Not dealing with it. Nope. It's 2026, man. Appreciate the super chat donation, Dream Chasing. But it's 2026, man. I'm letting my tax dollars handle that. My tax dollars got to handle that. Whatever situation I get into in 2026, altercation, somebody with road rage, you know what I mean? Somebody who, try to cut me in line, or try to, I don't know. But I'm letting my tax dollars handle that. You want to get out of line? All right. I'm getting the police on the line. Shit. 911. Calling 12, man. I'm calling them. I'm sorry. I ain't no gangster. Shit. Got me messed up. All right. I don't want to spend too much time on that. Them young boys need to get better. And they need to stop listening to so much young boy. But she did eat that slap, though. Y'all can't lie. She ate that shit for breakfast. Crazy stuff. Okay. What else do I have here? What else do I have? All right. So this one is a little bit, again, it's messy. It's an interesting one. The stand-up comic tells this very interesting joke, and it posed a question that I wanted to, it posed a question to me that I wanted to now pose to you guys. Do you guys think that men or women are more homophobic? Straight men and women are more homophobic. It's funny, and the way that the comic puts it in a comedic light is good. Let's hear it.
In general, who do you think is more homophobic, men or women? Men. Okay. Are there any straight single guys here? Yeah. Okay. Can I ask you a hypothetical question?
Yes.
Say you're on a date with a woman, things are going really well, you're into her. She's showing you photos on her phone, and then accidentally shows you a photo of her making out with another woman. Would you be able to get over that and go on a second date?
Yes.
The tolerance. The open-mindedness. This does not sound homophobic at all. Did you hear the enthusiasm in that yes? That was not a reluctant yes, I'll tell you that. That was an enthusiastic, open-minded, accepting yes. All right, ladies, say you're on a date with a guy. And you're going through photos, okay? And one of his boys just keeps popping up. Are you as open-minded as he is when they are making out? Thank you, sir.
That was actually funny. I found that funny. That was that was actually hilarious to me. Because what he's saying there is like kind of like, I guess it's like a little double standard. Most people would assume if you just ask this person, to the average person on the street, like, who do you think is more homophobic, men or women? Most people would just say men, right? I think it's kind of clear. I don't know. Women have always been more accepting, more open to things like that. I mean, just to be clear, I'm not homophobic at all. Not homophobic at all. Like I said before, I am a live and let live person. Do what you want with your life, and I can still, I can still love you. You know what I mean? And but this guy is kind of funny the way he poses this joke, but because he's saying like, if you're on a date, right? Oh my god. But if a guy's on a date with a girl and she's showing him photos in her phone, and one of the photos is like her kissing another girl, like the first thing in your mind as a guy is not like, ew, that's gay. Like, I don't want to be here anymore, whatever. Because I think, again, just the motives are just different in a lot of cases, And then when you take it over to the women's side, right, and she's on a date with a guy, and again, I think that it speaks to the intentions behind like what each person might want out of the situation, out of the, relationship, the date. But when a woman's on a date with a guy and he's showing her pictures in his phone and he accidentally scrolls by one of him kissing another guy, she's going to want to get up and leave. Like, literally, like, it's going to be repulsive, right? And I think just the intentions of straight men and straight women are just different. And that's why this joke works so well, and that's why it's so funny, you know. Because I think that women, straight women, I think by and large, their intentions when they go on a date with a man is to find somebody who, they could potentially get into a relationship with, and then maybe even potentially way down the road, get married and stuff like that. And, seeing and women like masculine men, but seeing like, so if a woman sees like a picture of you doing something that literally flies in the face of masculinity and like completely just rejects it, which is kissing a man, like she's gonna automatically be turned off by that and want to go home. Whereas a guy, if he sees that, a guy is or a girl has a photo of her kissing another girl, I think there's two thoughts. I think there's two thoughts that a guy might have. He might, just be wanting to hook up with her. So he's like, all right, I mean, I don't really care that she messes with girls, right? That doesn't really do anything for me. If anything, some guys would even want to have a threesome. Just me talking, just me spitballing here. But even with a guy who wanted to take the girl more seriously, and that's why he's on a date with her, I still don't think that he would bat an eye at her kissing another girl, unless he was like super religious and by the book in that way, and it's just like a non-negotiable for him, for family, whatever. But I think that men don't look at bi-curious women as like a threat. You know what I'm saying? Like if a guy sees a photo of a girl kissing another girl, he's not going to think of that as like a threat. There's no threat level there detected. Nothing goes off in a man's brain and says, "Oh my gosh!" Again, unless he's really religious, nothing goes off in his man's brain and says, "Oh my gosh!" Like I do not. This is repulsive. Just doesn't. So that's where the kind of the difference lies there. Let me see. Dream Chasing says, I think this is complex because it is downplayed how homophobic women are, but ask the same dude if he would be cool with having a gay male best friend or a female. Hmm. Interesting, interesting. World Class says men love bisexual women, so popcorn. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why the joke works. Now, when it comes to just like overall homophobic, because we're not talking about you didn't conflict, or how do I put this? I don't know. It's interesting because it's like a case by case thing. Like if you were like, for all the guys out there listening, if you had a best friend, right? And one day your best friend, let's say you've been best friends with him for like 10 years. One day he was showing you pictures in his phone and one of them was accidentally him kissing another dude. It's like, would you stop being friends with him? And if your answer is yes, then it's not, maybe you're not, I don't want to say homophobic, because again, if you're on a date with a girl and you see her kissing another girl, you're not going to care. I guess it's just male on male homophobia. Maybe there's a difference there. There's just a difference there. Interesting stuff. Again, guys, I'm not homophobic. Oh, absolutely. Accidentally hit my mic. I'm not homophobic at all. But this is just so fascinating to me. That's why it is complex. World Class is bisexual woman equals a green flag. I don't know though, because them be the wild ones, man. Them be the wild ones, you know. You know. You don't know what else they might be into. You don't know what else they might be into. Might be into a little bit of that might be into a little bit of that white girl. Just saying. Just saying. But yeah, guys, that's actually all I had for you on this episode of the show today. Again, guys, you can always send in topics to me on my social media at Sutton Def on Twitter or Instagram. Of course, I love you guys coming in here. I love us chopping it up and having these discussions. And I'll say this, I'm not totally done yet, because I want to say this. I know football season is over. I know a lot of you guys know me from the Purple Rain podcast, and the Ravens season is over now because it's a Baltimore Ravens podcast. And so with this channel, I do want to start doing more with it. And I'm still brainstorming on what that looks like. But just know, if you stay locked in with me, you stay subbed, liking the videos, and, you know, I appreciate everybody who donates as well, because I'm putting that right back into the channel. As you guys can see, I'm trying to spruce things up around here, right? But yeah, I just keep rocking out with me, keep believing in me, and I'm gonna keep showing up for you guys. And I appreciate you guys for coming through and again having these conversations with me. I feel like we teach each other a lot of things in here, and we react to things in real time. I love it. I love the community of it all. So again, I want to say, if you're watching this on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, make sure you come over to the actual Sutton Reactions YouTube channel. And after this video is over, I'll put the link in the description for it. But if you go on YouTube and you just type in Sutton Reactions, just how it's spelled right down here, then you'll also find the channel there too. But again, appreciate all of y'all for coming through, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Wait, stay positive, test negative. Never ever forget to call God. Always say that.